You've been told your whole life you have to be smart to make a lot of money. You have to be a certain age to make a lot of money. You have to go to a certain university to have a shot at financial independence. And these are all lies, manipulation, and BS and nonsense. What's going on, everybody? Hey, this is Alex Morton. Welcome to another episode of the Alex Morton Show. Today is a special episode because I'm going to speak to the youth of the world. I'm going to say things that I wish people told me when I was 12, 14, 16, 18, because I am pretty much disgusted with the narratives around millennials or the Gen Z, community. I just think there's so much garbage and crap and utter just bullshit being spewed at the youth of America and the youth of the world right now. And a lot of young people that I meet all over the world, they seem confused. They're getting conflicting views, right? And I want to speak to the young people. So if you're watching this right now, whether you're 14, 17, 19, or, I'm 34. I feel like I'm still a young person, right? So no matter what age you are, you're going to get value from today's show. Like I always say, comment down below your thoughts, your opinions, your questions, your concerns, right? This is an interactive show. If you're on Apple, if you're on Spotify, leave a review, leave 5 stars, and let's just continue to help each other elevate and accelerate, evolve, transform into the best version of ourselves. For those of you that are new to the Alex Morton Show, I've been an entrepreneur now pretty much since birth. I was selling cookies in high school, literally baking chocolate chip cookies in high school and then flipping them during study hall for a couple dollars, for a bag of cookies, right? And then I was shoveling snow in Ohio during the wintertime. I was raking leaves during fall. I was licking envelopes in my parents' life insurance agency for $7.50 an hour when I was 16. And then at 18, I went to Arizona State University. I left Ohio, went to Arizona State University, got into real estate at 18 because I saw $1 million listing on, Bravo, got my real estate license. And then at 21, I found my thing. I found the thing that was going to help me become a multimillionaire long before I ever turned 30 years old. So welcome again to the show. And again, today it is for everybody, but most importantly, it's for the young people out there. So here's the deal. Success and money-making advice, right? For the younger generations. Okay, before I get into it, here's some truth. Ready? I started from zero. I'm not one of those, Lucky Sperm Club kids that are, born into, a $15 million per year, business, or my dad was the president of some, commercial real estate firm. None of that. I started at zero, right? And when I made my first real chunk of change at 21, I used my real estate commissions to scrounge up $563 to get started in my first direct selling business and company, right? So I started from zero and bootstrapped my way all the way to the, at one point definitely was the number one earner in my entire, profession. And I only share that with you because I want you to pay attention. This is a free show, free content. I want you to learn. I want you to apply. I want you to execute. And eventually I want you to dominate whatever space you're in. Insurance, door-to-door, solar, maybe you're an up-and-coming artist. I don't know, but I do know this. The laws of the universe, the laws of success, the science of achievement is applicable to every single category and vertical in our lives. So if you're young out there listening to this, okay, here's the deal. A lot of you have been told these myths, this narrative, this story time, right? People say, enjoy your 20s. You've got so much time. Enjoy being a kid. Listen, I enjoyed being a kid, man. I had a lot of fun in middle school and high school, right? But, in high school, I got a hold of Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, right? My parents had Tony Robbins audio tapes down in our basement in Columbus, Ohio. I can still see it in my mind to this day. Personal Power, old cassette audio tapes, and I was playing them, right? Instead of playing Monopoly growing up, my dad had us playing Cash Flow Quadrant board game by Robert Kiyosaki. So this whole idea of, just, spend your time, being a ding dong growing up and, getting high and drinking every single day and playing video games, if whoever's telling you that's an idiot. I mean, to me, that's it's mean, it's cruel, it's evil to say these things to kids that actually have goals and have dreams and, have a high level of desire to go out there and make something of themselves, right? So it's ridiculous advice to just continue to tell people, just enjoy your childhood, enjoy college. Again, I went to college. I had too much fun. I had so much fun in college, I got arrested by Tempe police at 18 years old. Literally only one time in my life I've ever been in handcuffs, but I was in handcuffs at 18 at Arizona State University. I had so much fun at Arizona State, I got kicked out of the business school at 19 years old, right? So you can still have your fun and be a kid and enjoy the youth, right? And also begin to potentially build a business, potentially do personal development, potentially start to grow your mind. So when you turn 25 or you exit the university years, you can go into the workforce, you can start a business, you can go out there and kick every one of your competitors' ass because you've been building yourself for years and years and years and years and years. So it is ridiculous advice to listen to that nonsense, right? You can be young, especially in today's world with the iPhone, right? There are teenagers earning millions of dollars on TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat. There are founders and CEOs of companies now in the AI space. Some of these kids, they're not even 22, 23 years old, right? So age is just a number. Okay, it has nothing to do with wisdom. To be honest, it has nothing to do with wisdom, right? Yeah, you might be more experienced at 55 than you are at 25, but that does not mean you can't make a lot of money at a young age. When I started at 21 in direct sales, there were no young people making any money. So the biggest limiting belief and the limiting factor that was holding me back at first was everyone kept telling me, just stay in school, stay in school, stay in school. You're too young. Everyone's your parents' age, right? And I eventually said, you know what? F that. I'm going to do it at a young age. And then I became the youngest and fastest ever to make $1 million in my first company, right? So do not let other people's opinions and other people that gave up on their goals and their dreams, okay, detour you from being young and also getting to it, getting to the money, building a business. Hell, maybe when you turn 16, you're already financially there to buy your first dream car as your first car, right? That may sound crazy to some people, but there are people doing that all over the world. So don't listen to the nonsense and listen to this advice right here. I'm going to give you guys some steps right now if you're young and or young at heart to really get out of last and get your butt into first, right? Here's the deal. Again, you've been told your whole life you have to be smart to make a lot of money. You have to be a certain age to make a lot of money. You have to go to a certain university to have a shot at financial independence. And these are all lies, manipulation, and BS and nonsense, right? From some of your parents, grandparents, teachers, professors, friends, right? They either gave up on their own lives and their own dreams, right? Or they're afraid you're going to go out there and make it, and then you're going to leave them and potentially go make, friends with other people that are high achievers, that are doing things, that are moving and shaking in the world and in the universe, right? So here we go. Number one, right? If you're young, get into personal development at a young age. Like I said before, I got Rich Dad Poor Dad, thank God, from my dad in 4th or 5th grade, right? I got a hold of the Tony Robbins audio tapes at a very young age, right? When I was 17, 18 in my dorm room at Arizona State, that's when I really found like YouTube University, and it was all the old school, like godfathers of personal development, right? The Zig Ziglars, the Andrew Carnegie's, the Brian Tracy's, right? Obviously, the Tony Robbins of the world. It's all free on YouTube. So get into personal development, okay? And then you want to model winners, right? Modeling people that have what you want. You can be 16 years old right now. Maybe you're like, you know what? I want to build a brand on social media, right? I want to become a TikTok star. I don't know what you want to do, but I will say this, there's probably somebody already doing what it is you want to be doing. So go out there and model, reverse engineer what it is they did to get to where it is they are. That's what I've done my entire career. When I got into business, I said, okay, I want to get to $10,000 a month. What did I do? I went and found people earning $10,000 a month. And I said, okay, how did they do it? It was all documented. And in today's world, in 2024, it's all documented, probably on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So go a couple years back and see what it is they did, what they posted, the videos that they made, and start to model yourself after winners, not your broke ass cousin who gets high every day and works at the gas station, man. If you want to win, model people that are winning. Number 2, get in the habit of setting goals. Get in the habit of setting goals, right? Get in the habit of getting a piece of paper out and a pen and thinking to yourself. School never taught you and me how to think. Think about it for a second, right? Think about that. Think about thinking about that. No one ever taught you how to think. It's one of the highest things we're capable of doing as a human being is actually thinking. It's what separates me and you from the other animals in the whole animal kingdom. Okay, you as a human being, you can think, generate thoughts, take a thought and formulate an idea, impress the idea on your subconscious mind, get emotionally involved with the attainment of what it is you want, formulate a strategy and a blueprint and a plan, and then take necessary physical actions to bring that thought, an idea, and goal into a physical manifestation. I know that was a lot right there, but if you watch all the episodes of my show, I break down everything that I just said. Get in the habit of writing out your life as you would like it to be in excruciating detail, right? Number 3, again, sit in a quiet room and think. Think. What do I think about? This is what you should be thinking about. Ready? What do I like? What do I enjoy doing? Right? Gary Vee said in today's world, no matter what you're interested in, it could be anime or these adults run around, they get dressed up like with costumes on, they go to these Comic-Con conventions and stuff. There's people that are super interested in sneakers, like sneakerheads, right? You could be interested in high performance energy drinks or water or the pyramids in Giza in Egypt. I don't know, but I do know this, and I agree with Gary Vee on this. You can build a business around what it is you enjoy. You can build a business around the things that interest you, right? I'm interested in personal self-development, right? I am financially independent enough at this point where I don't have to work necessarily to, still maintain, my lifestyle. I do this because I thoroughly enjoy doing this, and my intention is to help people break out of the prison, which there are no bars, right? And I really believe that information is one of the only tickets to freedom, right? Specific information has the ability to change your situation, right? So, hey, what do I like? What do I enjoy doing? What interests me? What am I passionate about, right? What's a problem I can solve? The best entrepreneurs are the people that solve the biggest problems. What is a problem on earth right now that angers you, that pisses you off? One of the things that my wife and I are very passionate about is, trying to help end child trafficking, sex trafficking, labor trafficking. I think it's the number one, quote, business now on the planet that many people never talk about, right? So we're passionate about, hey, let's make hundreds of millions of dollars in the first half of our life. In the second half of our life, let's spend all the money helping go out there and murder people that are trafficking children, okay? So, hey, what's a problem you want to solve, man? Think about it. What's a problem you see on the earth that you want to solve very, very bad? You can build a business around making some extra money and solving that problem. The bigger problem, the more money there is to be made, okay? Number 4, this is a big one. Ready? Number 4, you have to understand something, okay? You need to understand a lot of your friends, a lot of your family members, people that are near and dear to your heart, people that genuinely care about you, okay? When you're young, people are going to say their opinions to you. Focus on being a kid, go outside and play, or, do whatever the hell these kids are doing on their iPad all day long, right? You have to understand these people may love you. They have your best interests in their heart and in their mind, but if they don't have what it is you want, they may not be necessarily qualified to give you advice on your life. You must understand that people and friends will think you are crazy for thinking differently. But here's some statistics for you. Ready? out of 100 people in the United States of America, okay, 4% of them are financially free, 1% is wealthy. So 95% of them are broken financially. I didn't make these statistics up. Go look it up, okay? So if that's the truth, 95 out of every 100 people, right, are financially not secure. That means 95 out of 100 people in your life, in my life, right, they are not qualified to give us advice on building a business, earning money, becoming a success at a young age, okay? So don't let other people's ideas, opinions, perspectives, and narratives influence your mind. If you want to become a successful individual at a young age, go for it, okay? Number 5, you want to work and focus on building a winning self-image. What does that mean, right? Well, a self-image is defined as this: the way you see you is the way the world is going to see you. So if I would interview you right now and say, you know what? Tell me 5 things about you. Describe yourself with 5 key characteristics and or words. What would those words be? And if some of those words would be shy, timid, afraid, fearful, scared, right? You want to work on self. You want to work on you, right? Personal self development. It's not personal world development. It's personal self. I'm working on me. I had to become a different version of myself to earn $1 million before I was 25 years old, or earn 30 million before I was 30, or my second book went Wall Street Journal #2 bestseller, The Secret to Knowing It's Already Done, right? I had to become a different version of Alex to achieve these certain things, guys. I had a 1490 SAT score, right? Out of 2400. That is a shit score. I applied to Oklahoma University. They said no. I applied to Indiana University. They said absolutely no. I applied to Arizona State. They said, sure, if you're breathing oxygen, come on in, my friend, right? You don't need to have a high IQ to make a lot of money. You might need a high EQ, emotional intelligence, but I'm telling you guys right now, you want to focus on building self, building a winning self-image. Well, how do you do that? By keeping promises to yourself, right? And it can be little things. Hey, start tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'm going to pray. I'm going to get into gratitude. I'm going to make my bed. And I'm going to drink, 8 ounces of good water. That's 4 wins right there in the first 10 minutes of waking up. So you're win. You're programming your mind to, guess what? Win the rest of the day. Your self-image is now winning instead of losing, right? So saying this I will do, and then doing what it is you say you're going to do. And by doing this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, your self-confidence is going to increase. When your self-confidence increases, guess what? You look at yourself a little bit better, a little bit different. You start to see yourself as a champion, as a winner, as an elite level human being and individual. And remember, your past does not equal your future. You might have been getting yelled at in 6th grade. You might have been getting, sent to the principal's office in 8th grade, right? You might have been handcuffed too, when you were a teenager. Guess what? Your past does not dictate your future. Will Smith said it best. He said, where you are today almost doesn't matter on where it is you're going tomorrow, right? So focus on where it is you are going. And then last but not least, guys, number 6, continue to dream and think big. I'll never forget, I'm 16 years old. Me and my buddies got together to watch the first ever episode on HBO back in the day of a show called Entourage. Some of you remember this show, like Vinny Chase and all his buddies, and Ari Gold, the agent, and E and Turtle. Great, phenomenal show, right? We're 16 years old. We watched this show, and the show is about this group of like best friends. They're in LA, they're traveling the world. One's a movie star, they're spending tons of money, they're having lots of fun, they're driving nice cars. And I'm thinking to myself at 16 in this tiny little town in Ohio, I'm thinking, I don't even know what I just saw, but I desire that lifestyle. That's what I want. And I want it at a young age, right? And that's what really sparked my interest in business, entrepreneurship, making money, success. So I was dreaming and thinking very, very big, bigger than all of my friends, most of my friends back then, right? At 16 years old. So guess what? You need to dream. You need to think big, because guess what? Every single thing in my life right now to this day, the cars, my wife and I just bought an oceanfront condo in Miami, Florida, bank account, everything in my life, everything began in my mind. It began by me thinking big and dreaming big. And here's a newsflash. Ready? It takes the same mental energy to dream big as it is to dream small. Think about that for a second, right? It takes the same time for you to picture in your mind a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. It takes the same time for you to focus and think about, a Honda or a Prius or a Nissan. There's nothing wrong with a Honda, a Prius, or a Nissan. I'm just giving you the example of thinking big versus, potentially thinking a little bit smaller. But again, I'm not here to tell you what it is you want. You define what success means to you. You define what the life you're going to go out there and build and create and do, right, for your time on this planet. But I will tell you, if you are young watching this right now, if you are young on Apple and or Spotify right now, I'm telling you guys, age has nothing to do with the amount of success you can create and you can experience and you can enjoy in your life, okay? So take control of what you think about. Take control of building this winning self-image, building this winning idea of self-worth, okay? Take the right actions every single day. Well, Alex, what are the actions I should take? You're going to build whatever your business is. You're going to build you. And if you're young on here, maybe you're only 13 or 14 years old. Maybe you're listening to this right now because your dad turned it on and you're very, very young. Get into personal self-development, right? When we have kids one day, I'll tell you guys right now, they will know Bob Proctor's voice when that child is in the womb of my wife. You may think that sounds insane, but guess what? The human subconscious mind, go look it up. I'm not making this stuff up. The subconscious mind is the most impressionable and open from years 0 to about 12 years old. So whatever you program that kid with, the ideas, the philosophies, the audios, the videos, the conversations, that's the paradigm of that child. Okay, so you can either program your kids to win or you can program your kids to be, victims of environment and victims of their circumstance, and then they can go around blaming everybody for everything their entire lives, okay? So if you're young, you too can still win, dominate, and do whatever the heck you want to do with the one life that you've got. So again, thank you so much for spending some time with me here today at the Alex Morton Show. If you got value from this, please share it with a friend or family member. Drop a comment on YouTube. And if you're listening in on Apple and or Spotify, leave a 5-star review and let me know what section of this show you liked the best. I will see you very, very soon on another episode of the Alex Morton Show. Go out there, trust in God, and be great. You deserve it. Let's go.